I was trying to think of what to do for the weekend raffle, and obviously it needs to be something that I can ship. So I thought, why not do some butter cookies in a flower theme? So I've decided that I'm going to take my Christmas butter cookie recipe, which is so simple and so delicious, and turn it into a flowered theme instead of a Christmas theme. So the first step, we have 4 sticks of butter, and we're going to soften them. And we're going to do roughly 1 cup of sugar. And then a little bit of vanilla. That was Penzies, my fave. And then we do a little creaming of the butter and sugar. And now we take the same scoop, and we're going to do roughly 4.5 cups of flour. I always start with less because you can always add more. So I'm going to do my 4 scoops. 3, 4. And we keep our half standing by because we always want to wait to make sure we need that extra half. We slowly stir it in. So you'll notice that I did not add eggs to the butter sugar mixture, and there's a reason for that. The cookies that I'm going to make are eggless cookies, so they don't have a hard crunch. They're not soft and chewy cookies. They're just going to be buttery, melt in your mouth Italian cookies that you're going to love, I promise. I've never had a complaint about the butter cookies. So we mix the flour in. We get it to a point where we can maybe get our hands in it, because that seems to be a theme with me. I like to get my hands in it. So now I have my flour standing by, and I'm going to start kneading this and see how much more flour I need. So this is going very well, and it feels pretty good. It probably doesn't even need any more flour. So I'm really glad I started with less. What I'm looking for here is a consistency that is going to be easy to maneuver into my cookie press. And I'm going to demonstrate how it works. It looks like this, and it comes with many different shapes that you put into the bottom. I happened to get this one from Pampered Chef many years ago, and it's still with me. At Christmas time, you've got your Christmas tree, you've got your snowman. For Halloween, we have our pumpkin and other shapes. And what I've chosen for today is a few flowered shapes that it comes with. A little pinwheel, comes with a butterfly for spring, and another flower. Unscrew the bottom of it, and then you'll notice that it has this other handle. I'm going to unwind it, and it brings the press thing up to the top. I'll start with this flower, okay? And we're going to place it into the bottom of the press, and then we put this back on. Either side is fine. And one thing I'm going to say is, if you don't have a cookie press, I'm sure you can just, I'll do a test actually. We can roll some balls and press them and decorate them. They're just not going to be as nicely presentable as my fancy cookie press is going to demonstrate. But I'm sure you could still press them in and maybe use cookie cutters. So we're going to take our cookie press, and the next step is to add into the cylinder some of our dough. And this is why the consistency of the dough is important. If it's too dry, it's going to be really hard to turn and get the cookies out of the press. So I take small size balls and I drop them in and press them down a bit. And I press it. Now you want to press it to get the air out a bit, because otherwise you'll have air pockets. And when you're trying to press the cookies out, you don't want air pockets in there. I'm going to fill it all up. I get that top all the way out. Screw it back on. It is time to get a cookie sheet, and we use ungreased cookie sheets, no spray needed, and we're going to twist this cookie press so that it presses the cookies onto the cookie sheet. I think a good idea would be to bring you a little closer so you can see this up close. So I'm going to do a few twists on the press until I feel the dough coming out. And it will be a little bit of trial and error. Okay, like that wasn't good. Oh, there we go. So twist and up, twist and up, twist and up. Well, this is going really well. And they came out pretty nice on the first round, and that's what they look like up close. The next step is to choose some decor for your cookies. Now, what I've brought with me here is, I love to have milk chocolate chips involved whenever possible, apparently. And then I have several different types of sprinkles. I brought some flowery ones that I had. I've got multicolored sprinkles here, pink, blue, and we'll decorate. And what I'm going to do is just change up the decorations on a few of these, and we'll just try a few different looks to start. So for the first couple, I'm going to take a couple of chocolate chips. What I'm doing is I'm putting 3 chips, and I'm making a little chocolate chip trio on my flowers. What I'm going to do on this tray, since a lot of my flowers have a hole in the middle, is I'm going to roll little tiny dough balls and put it into the hole so that my sprinkles don't fall through and go to the bottom. So now let's get some purple sprinkles. We'll do some orange flowers, more pink ones, and we'll finish it off with a few chocolate chips. So now we have a nice tray of different multicolored flowers, as well as some little mini chip flowers. And this is ready to go in the oven. And you only need about 8 to 10 minutes on these. And these can get a little bit golden brown, and they are going to be buttery delish. And you know why? No egg. Surprise. Now I'm going to switch my shape. Let's try some butterflies. So I'm going to pop my butterfly in. I put my top back on. We still have plenty of dough left in here, so I will just continue to press. It's a bit of trial and error on how much to turn each time. So what I do is, if I do one that gets messed up, for example, this first one, I just throw it back in and I redo it. If you don't have a cookie press, you should get one. It's really handy. And now I'm going to decorate these with some colors. This is where it's helpful to have some artistic abilities. Mine are limited. Here is what my butterflies look like. I played around with a few themes. My little Earth Day project. And I'm going to put these in and check on the other ones. So the other ones need a couple more minutes, so I'm going to start loading up for my next batch. I'm going to leave a little bit out so that I can do some freestyle ones in case you want to try this and you don't have a cookie press. Try our third shape, which is this one. I think making these cookies is very therapeutic. It's peaceful. You get in a zone. It's not, you don't have to think too much because there's not a lot of ingredients. What I like to do is roll it so it starts, see that? You can start to see it. It's helpful. And then you know you're right at the point where you can get to the tray. Oh, these are fun. I'm going to take a quick peek in the oven and see how we're doing here. So our first batch is definitely ready to come out. Every oven timing is different on how long you bake things. So even when the directions say a certain amount of time, you should always check, because your oven might just be pumping it along a little bit quicker. The thing that's fun for me about making these videos with you guys is I don't always do a lot of planning or thinking ahead. I brought my things out here, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them until I started. And that's what makes it fun. It's like I have you guys in the kitchen here with me, like an imaginary friend. And I'm working on my things. So now each one has a chip. Let's sprinkle some pink. Oh, this is so good. Let me show you. I love this. Whoop! Darn it. Let me show you what happened right there. So this one has this nice little sprinkle thing on top, and this one somehow is lacking the sprinkle feature. So it just dumped right out. Whoops. I think I'm going to try a couple where I do half pink and half purple and see what happens there. I get really into it. Let me get rid of this one. Let's get rid of the fail. Let's get one more in here. Some pink. Take a look. See the one that's pink and purple combo? We have our individual ones. These are so cool. And they look good. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I think our next batch is ready to come out. Perfect. So our butterflies are a touch golden. And these look so good. I'm going to show you what it would be like if you did this with cookie cutters. So I'm going to take some dough, I'm going to roll it and flatten it. I pulled out this to use it like a cookie cutter, a little round thing. So here's how we look. More pinwheels and our happy faces. I'm going to do a quick check on that other tray, see how we're doing. Right. This one looks good. When you're doing this, it's important to keep looking in the oven and making sure you don't overcook them. So this last batch looks very nice. You can see the browning on the edges. And it's a good idea not to overcook these cookies because they look better when they're just a little slightly golden and not overly browned. But they look good. I'm pleased. Happy Earth Day.